Story.
What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I don't even know what fucking day it is anymore. I'm Sean.
And I'm Tom.
And
And we're
we're
the Block
Bros.
Bros.
That was pretty good. If you couldn't tell by me fucking up the beginning, I'm incredibly tired. I am so very out of it. So, Tom, tell me about your week.
Pretty basic, kind of boring week. Just did a lot of tattoos, general kind of stuff, I honestly can't remember what we did. I mean, I had a pretty good Halloween. I guess we haven't been here since Halloween, have we?
No, yeah,
Oh.
we took last week off because we had a lot going on. So if you want to
Yeah.
talk about Halloween, yeah, we can go back that far. That's totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, we went to like that haunted hayride, so that was pretty fun. That was about the pinnacle of my Halloween. Like, I didn't think we'd do anything since it was a Monday, but like, yeah,
Yeah,
it was pretty fun.
Halloween on a Monday should be illegal, but it also sounds like a really good pop punk band name.
Right? God. Me and Sean should like never be allowed in like haunted houses. Like, by the way, because like we're strategically making jokes through
Dude,
the
yeah.
entire thing. Like, I'm like, just we're going through like a plane. I'm like, oh man, this is really scary. They're bringing us to war. Like, fuck.
Oh my God, no, like, we had to like run into like a chopper or whatever. It was like they had like a fake like chopper, and we were like, "Where are we dropping, boys?" Or like this one time, we were on it was like a haunted hayride, and I had like horns on, and
Yeah.
this lady came up and she touched my horns, and she's like, "Are you a ram?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just a little horny," and she like got really really like uncomfortable and was like, "I'm gonna keep walking," and I was just like. I'm not sure how I'm making you uncomfortable here. Like you're supposed to be making me scared.
Right.
But
Oh,
it was really good. Did you have a favorite part of the haunted hayride?
I mean, there was one time that generally got me spooked, and that was because it was a dude just dressed as like a net perfectly. He scared the shit out of me because he was just by all these nets. I just walked by and just grabbed me. I was like, okay, what the fuck? But
I think
like,
I think my favorite part was probably the when we went to the clown house because they had like a clown house.
yeah,
Because people are afraid of clowns, and there was music playing, and I'm like, I know this song. Why do I know this song? And it was like an album that I hadn't heard since like fucking I was in high school, and it was like Asking Alexandria's like dubstep album, like
yeah,
really bad album. It was like Step Up and Scratch or something like that is the name of the album. So
horrible.
bad, and I was like, I know this song. Like it was really funny. We died. It was the funniest shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been as for me for my what I've been doing since Halloween. The reason we had to take last week off was because I started my tech program, and I'm like drowning in homework. So it's been a lot. That's also why I'm super tired. I've been getting up at like 7 a.m. and doing homework literally all day, every day for like 40 hours a week,
look at
and
this
I'm
man.
burnt.
How
Yeah,
dare he
I'm
try to like better his life and things?
Dude, yeah, and I am burnt out. Let me tell you, it is not fun. And thankfully, it's only for like the next 4 months, so I'm powering through. But with that being said, we're gonna talk about a game that I'm passionate about today, and I think Tom's
Mhm.
pretty passionate about. The whole
I
game
love
is
this
built
game.
on passion, I think. Love is in
Sure.
the air tonight on Block Rose Podcast as we talk about our first dating sim.
I guess. I mean, at first.
We're talking about Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah.
Initially, I just want to pass this off. If you guys listen to this podcast via audio platform, you're not going to see it, but I am wearing my Doki Doki Literature Club t-shirt. That's right. I have a Doki Doki Literature Club t-shirt.
Yeah. I was so upset I couldn't find my hat for the podcast because it has all of them on it too, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know where to
Nice.
put it. But
This
yeah, I
is
love that shirt. It's fucking great.
this is one of the only things I've ever seen, like just like somewhere out and about, and was like, I need to buy that. Like, and I just went back and bought it immediately. I don't do that with a lot of things. Like, I'm not a material person, but I was like, I want that so bad. It's just like a bright pink shirt with all the characters on it. Like,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
let's talk about Doki Doki Literature Club. I guess I'll start since I'm gonna have you do the long part.
I was gonna say, since we handle story is like a vast chunk of this.
Yeah. Yeah. So, basically, Doki Doki Literature Club is a freeway. Oh my god, freeway. A freeware. It's cars. Beep beep. No, a freeware visual novel. Developed by Team Salvato in 2017. In the game, you play a high school student. That gets pressured from his friend to join a literary club. Like you're a male and you get pressured from your neighbor to join a literary club. And although at first this game appears to be your average dating sim, anyone who's played dating sims, they all kind of have the same or similar feel where like you're XYZ and you have to date XYZ, and you go through the motions of that. It feels like that at first. And you soon learn that it's anything but. That is just a disguise, and it's really actually a psychological horror game that holds absolutely nothing back and breaks the fourth wall in many occasions. The game features a more non-traditional plot structure that includes multiple endings for all the characters. The original inspiration for the game came from creators' mixed feeling towards anime and surreal and unsettling horror experiences, and that really shines through like all the way through. Like it feels like an anime dating sim, super fun, and then it immediately turns into some weird horror experience when you least
right.
expect it. Well, that's the gist of the beginning. Do you want to take over with the storyline, and I'll play some footage in the background while you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That would be great.
All right.
Storyline.
Wrong button. I clicked the wrong button. Well, there you go. Go ahead, and I will pull that up.
Right. Okay. So before I even start story, I want to enlist just a couple warnings here. One, if you are sensitive, like this is probably not the episode for you to be watching. Like I'm
Or
just gonna
listening to.
throw it out to like if you're just easily disturbed by shit, this game is gonna fuck with you. And another thing is if you really have been wanting to play this game, there's gonna be I'm gonna spoil like a lot. Like at
Yeah.
first for the first few minutes, it's just gonna be like me kind of setting up what's gonna happen in the first kind of arc, which I feel like anyone could listen to and appreciate. But after that, there is going to be heavy spoilers. I'll say when I start those. But if you don't want spoilers, don't listen for about like 10 minutes here. You know?
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much. We're gonna talk about the story in its entirety because, like, unlike with other games where you can gloss over certain aspects, this game you can. If you really want to fully appreciate it or like an entire in-depth review of it, you have to talk about what happens. So, with that being said, Tom, take it away.
All right. Well, I'm gonna welcome y'all to the Literature Club. You're convinced by your friend Sayori, and basically begrudgingly you agree to join a literature club, even though you're not much of a reader. As you're the new club member, you kind of enter in not knowing what to expect, and to your surprise, it's three amazingly cute girls. Yori, she is like kind of shy, intelligent, metaphorical, also has purple hair, so good on her. There's like straightforward, short Natsuki. She's like an underclassman, you figure. She's kind of like more small and whatnot. And then along, you also have your class president, Monica. who always just seems to be full of cheer. So it's just those four like that you're ever going to talk to. It's just those four kind of protagonists and yourself.
You didn't even talk about Sayori, other than that she was there. Dang.
Sorry. Sayori is your best friend. She's been your best friend for like a lot of years, and she's kind of like they needed like just they're trying to grow their members, so that's why she kind of pushed you in. Like I love Sayori. She's a great friend, you know. Get more into her later. Um
Ominous.
So basically, you go to the meetings and you kind of like meet each one and you just kind of get like, the feel for it, your typical dating sim. And that's kind of where the gameplay starts to take part because, like, the idea is that after each meeting, you kind of like write poems to kind of like share with each other the next day. And, you're just kind of like each person has their own kind of feel. So you're trying to like woo the person you're after. Like that's kind of like the dating feel in this game, I guess.
I think not to, just to interject,
Yeah.
I think even though we're talking about the storyline, this is a really interesting component to the game that has you like make poems to try to woo who you're interested in. It's a cool little like dating sim crafting thing. I don't know. I thought it was interesting anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty nice, and that's where it kind of starts for like the first couple chapters. You're kind of getting to know the characters. You're kind of picking a character. You kind of like, I personally always had a thing for Yori at first. So I mean,
Same. Relatable
well,
content.
yeah. But you'll eventually have to choose between Yori and Natsuki because you have like an upcoming festival that you're taking part in, right? So everyone kind of has their set job. You can either choose one of the two, or I think you can also choose Sayori. I can't remember honestly if that's an
I'm
option.
pretty
But
sure. Yeah, yeah. You get options.
so yeah, you're set up to like choose one of them for like working with on the weekend, like and basically it's a nice little side date, out of the classroom, getting to know these people. And I will say right now this is where some major spoilers are going to start happening. So if you want like this is kind of like your last attempt to start like before some shit starts happening. So
Spoiler alert! Official Black Bros spoiler alert.
all right. So whoever you choose to like go with, usually it's unless you choose Sayori, I think, but either way, I think you end up meeting up with Natsuki or Yori no matter what. But whichever one of those two you choose, they'll attempt to kiss you, and Sayori catches you, and she will start crying because she like confesses her love to you, and you can either choose to like kind of profess your love to her or put her basically in the friend zone because you've been friends for years. And yeah, the next day, Sayori isn't at school, and Monica hands you her poem, and all it says is "Get out of my head," like over and over and over again on the piece of paper, just constantly that, just get out of my head. Like, so you head to her house, and you knock on her door to see if everything's okay and how she's been feeling. And that's where I basically almost threw up the first time because
Yeah.
she's hanging like right there, just fucking
They
straight
do
up.
not pull the punches at all on that. It shows everything. It's very fucked up, and it took me by surprise because the game lulls you into this really fucking false sense of security that it's just like, oh, it's a dating sim, it's fun, and then your best friend is dead.
Yeah. And then right there, the game ends. And that's the end of just the second act. Like that. It was like I literally almost vomited when I seen that scene. I've never like vomited almost out of horror, but that shit like, oh, it was grotesque.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it stuck in my head the first time I played this game. It hits you like a truck. Actually, there's a video of. Again, I stream. I'm a live streamer for a living now. Actually, for the next 4 months, and there's a clip of me playing this the first time I did, and it was like 2000. 19, I think was the first time I played this game, and I was crying, and I was like I'm blackout drunk, like, because I was like pretty fucking drunk. I'm like, I'm really drunk, and my best friend just killed herself, and it was just like I'm
Yeah,
crying on stream, like it was fucked up. It's a really fucked up experience, and if that doesn't tell you exactly how messed up it is, it's bad.
yeah. Like it was fucked up just once. Like it's such like an abrupt change to the game all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah, you go from like this cute, happy dating sim to literal death, like just like the saddest death.
Yeah, and that's basically like I think the end of like Act One right there, and now we're moving into Act Two, where basically right at the end of the game, you kind of go back to the main menu, and you can tell things are already fucked up because like data is already corrupted. You don't have your save files anymore. Like, um, let's say Sayori is kind of out of the game now, and now it's like the game starts, right? And everything is kind of the same except like Sayori isn't there. And the world is like fucked up because it can't handle her not being there because like it can't, you know, like
It's like a
everything just
glitch in the
starts,
system.
yeah. Everything is corrupted, everything is all fucked up, you know? And basically nobody even remembers her ever existing. Like you don't, the characters don't, like nobody even mentions Sayori anymore. I mean, you as yourself know, but like your character doesn't know. It's just it's crazy. But basically, aside from just so many distortions, game text constantly being changed and gets super fucked up. By the way, like
Yeah, it really messes with you. Like, it's very subtle the way it messes with you because like the initial game feels like a dating sim. It feels like a dating sim, and then when it hits the first, I'm gonna call it a wall break. When it hits the first wall break, and then your game, you start the game over, and it's like Tom saying that it looks like the other way to graphically describe it is like it's corrupted. Like it looks like a corrupted file. Like your computer's fucked up, and you're playing a corrupted file essentially. And also in the second act, it feels like things are a little bit more speed run than in the first act as
right,
well.
yeah, yeah, I definitely feel that. Like as soon as like the first arc, it feels like really big, but yeah, once you start replaying the game, I mean, the second go around, like Sean said, you can kind of like gloss things, but things just start to change and distort, and you never know when they're going to happen, and they always will catch you by surprise, like in these next few acts, you know.
Hmm.
But basically, like it's like fucked up because, like, again, you start choosing who to kind of go after, you know, Yori or Natsuki. You know, I personally still went after Yori, and she becomes, let's just say, really, really fucking uh, obsessive, unstable, like self harming. Like I know if you choose Natsuki, which I think I did the time before this, like she was abused by her father and malnourished, and it's fucked up in the
It's
scenes to
messed up.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, like but like after that, after you start learning about that, like a conflict starts breaking out between like all the club members, and Yuri basically after like this fight happens pushes Monica out of the room, right, and pushes everybody out. And Yuri confesses her love for you, and if you reciprocate her love or not, um, she will kill herself like right there. She just stabs herself right
Yeah,
in
and
the fucking
again,
chest.
it's abrupt and shows everything, just like the the Sayori death scene. They do not pull the punches on. I want to be very clear about this. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, like you're gonna start clicking on this scene, by the way, and it's fucked up because like you sit there the whole weekend, by the way. Like you're gonna have to hit the skip button, and you're like, "Why is my game broken?" It's like, no, it just lasts like 3 day and night cycles because it was on a Friday, and you just literally sat there all fucking weekend staring at that. Um. Anyway,
Yeah.
after that, like after that weekend, Natsuki kind of like runs in, and she's horrified. She vomits and runs straight out of the room, right? Like scared out of her mind, no idea what's going on. And then Monica comes in and she apologizes to you for such a boring weekend you must have had there. like staring at Yuri's lifeless body. And then Monica proceeds to delete Yuri and Natsuki from the game character files and restarts the game again.
Yeah.
So that's really where the game gets fucked up. Like,
if you thought it was fucked up before, but wait, there's more.
yeah. I know we'll talk more about the visuals later, but I will say, like, everything from distortion to how characters look in this last arc I was just talking about, every scene is so fucked in that point. Like, the first 2 hours of this game are nothing like this, you know? It's fucking
It's almost
nuts.
like a completely separate game. Like it goes from being like a cute dating sim with cute anime girls, and you're in a literature club, ha ha ha, to actual like horror, like terrifying horror.
Right. Yeah. It's messed up what you see. Anyway, Monica decides to restart the game, right? And now you're back in what remains of the literature kind of classroom. You can look out the windows, but there's nothing even outside. It looks like an exploding, like, particle dust galaxy kind of shit. And Monica is sitting right across from you, where she reveals that she's become, like, self aware and she's been manipulating the game's code, including, like, boosting all the negative sides of the characters so they'd appear unlikable to you, and it would prevent them from confessing their love. So basically, she was like making things even worse for every character in the game. And like you're kind of sitting there wondering why. And it's actually really simple. It's because Monica is basically jealous at first that she's not a love option. She's just a supportive character in the game. She's just the president, and you can never like fall in love with her. There's no option to, even in the poems later. And she then like confesses her love to you, like not like the character, but to you as like the person.
The player,
Yeah,
yeah.
as the player. Like Monica is talking to you. She's not talking to the character. Um she'll then like sit back and talk to you, and she'll give you a poem. Um and this is where it gets like really crazy, because you know how I said she deleted people, right? Well, now you go into the character file and you literally delete Monica from the game. Um and Monica is like furious at first, but she forgives and like understands why and restores the game because she loves you. Um but she's no longer part of it anymore. And this is where like the last act of the game comes in. Like as if things weren't already like messed up, you know.
Yeah, definitely. It's really messed up when because there's like this haunting scene where we were just talking about where she like looks past the player character to you playing the game, and it's like it feels very real. It feels like an AI that like gained sentience and realizes I'm in a game. I'm gonna talk to the person playing the game, and it's like it's very fucked up. Honestly, it really got to me. I don't know. I was playing it and I was like, this is messing me up. Like,
Right. Yeah, it is really messed up. And now this is where like this is like the end game right here. You can get like 3 possible endings to this game, like no matter kind of what you choose during like the main story like kind of things. It's like you can get 3 possible ones, but I will say most people get the first one cuz getting the second one is kind of like has a lot of requirements to it. So,
mhm.
but in the first one, so like everybody's back now, you know, besides Monica. So Sayori is back, and she's actually the president of the literature club, and it's like the same thing, same kind of story, um, at first, but then she starts to adopt the same tendencies as Monica, like everything Monica was doing, Sayori started to do too, and Monica basically cuts in, intervenes, and deletes Sayori, and saving the player basically at the same time, because it was just going to keep repeating itself. Like no matter what, like she like Monica realize that the cycle is gonna basically keep going and keep going, that
Mhm.
like as the credits roll, Monica deletes the game like entirely. Like literally your game files start getting deleted as the credits roll. Um, the game basically ends with a note stating that no happiness can be found in the literature club. And that's basically how the game ends. And literally, when I said it deletes your files, it does. The only
Yeah,
thing that's
fully.
left is the note. Like you have to
It literally,
reinstall the game.
yeah, it literally like physically in front of your eyes deletes your game files from your computer, and
Hmm.
then it leaves a little note, like a I don't know, I remember if it was like a notepad, and it like an actual like notepad that you can double click on, and it has that note left over. It's really fucked up. It's very game breaking. When we say it's fourth wall breaking and psychological horror, it feels like it because I mean people have all seen like movies where like or like movies or it's happened in real life where somebody like takes control of a computer and like does this stuff for you. Um, it's like that. It's really messed up.
Right. Yeah. It is pretty. It's pretty messed up how far that game goes, and it's pretty cool to see. Like it actually tie into the story.
Yeah.
Like, there is like a little bit of positive note for like another ending. This one I will say like it's a mix of specific events. Like I said, for one you have to watch every cutscene in the game while you play it, and you have to confess your love to Sayori. I think those are the two things you have to do. So it constantly involves saving and going back to save points, which I'm not usually that kind of you know
Hmm.
person just to for that sake. I understand why some people would, but basically, if you do all of that, Steori still becomes president, but she kind of like knows what's happened in a sense because you watched every part of it, and she thanks you for supporting the members and assure you, the player, that they love you and they wish you a tearful goodbye. And the credits play, but this time the game doesn't delete itself. Like, I don't know why it doesn't delete itself that time, but
I think it's supposed to be like a positive spin, pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah. And then the third option, which you won't figure out till like you run another playthrough, but you already know the ending now. So you can go in and you can delete Monica from the game without even starting a new game, right? And so Monica won't be there, but Sayori will. And upon realizing her new role in the game, she'll like close the game and she'll open it. And guess what? She's hanging again. Like,
It's messed up.
it's
It's
fucked.
super messed up. Yeah, it's very traumatic.
Yeah. So like, yeah, your possible endings are all pretty fucked. Even your good one isn't like a good ending to this game.
There's
Because
no
like,
good places in this game. Like it's all very traumatic and very hard to see. And honestly, the only way that we can get through this, usually we don't go fully that in depth with talking about a storyline in the game, but this game is fully storyline. Like there's nothing else besides the story, and the story that it tells is fucking traumatic and also just like incredibly unique in its concepts in the way that it plays out, like how it deletes its own files, how the characters are so interactive, how they all have their own personalities and death scenes and problems and loves and hates. It's very interesting and it makes you feel incredibly close to the characters, and then it brutally kills them off in front of your eyes like it's nothing.
yeah, and like it's such a great like messed up good story in this like such a short visual novel. Like it's fantastic. That's why I wanted to go in depth. Like it's a large amount of what we're going to talk about, and like the DLC, or like the plus version, I guess, of this game, I should say, has even like it's just a prequel to basically everything that's going on, like most like 6 missions, I think. But
Mhm.
like it adds like even so much like more to like the story still. I mean, I could get into that too, but I mean, it doubles like what's already going on. It makes you realize like because it talks about things outside of like the game itself that created the game, and it's
Mhm.
fucking nuts.
I think
Like,
it allows you. It's like more. It defines the players or the characters in the game more, and makes you realize the why things happen the way they did.
right. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's basically the gist of the storyline, and again, that's gonna be most of the episode. Not gonna lie to you guys. The rest of it is just gonna be us talking about parts of the game or the normal stuff that we always talk about. But the storyline was the major aspect that we had to get through. Sorry if you got anything spoiled for you. Either way, you should play it because we can talk about this all day. We can talk about how like you find say are you hanging or Monica deletes the game file, but when it happens it's honestly horrifying. Like it's all of it is actually scary.
Yeah, like I really can't do like a nice such a story heavy game that's like a good 5-ish hours long, I want to say. Like some people less, some people more. Like it's hard to condense all of those details. I'm giving like a main overview of what happens, but to experience it is like even me just telling you the story, you'll still get the same feelings like no matter what, I feel. So,
Exactly. And dude, it's such a worth it experience. Like I'm not the kind of person that will like I said I played this on stream both times that I've played it, and I'm not the kind of person that'll just like stay on a stream to finish something. I literally was like, I'm not going to bed until this is done. Like, I want to see how this ends because it gets you so hooked and intertwined. You'll forget about things that you're supposed to be doing. It's so good. Like, it's so good.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about the graphics and art.
Graphics and art.
You want to go first or you want me to go first? I mean, you just talked for a while. I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you like anime? Do you like cute anime girls?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in the audience, hell yeah. Well, then you would like this. It's cute anime girls. I mean, that's the whole appeal to it. They look like cute anime schoolgirls. You feel like you're the main character in your own little anime dating sim, like a slice of life anime rom com. That's what it looks like. And honestly, it's incredibly well done. The backgrounds are static. They don't usually move, but the player character or the player character doesn't ever move either. All you see in front of you is the regular characters that are moving around, and it's like still images, but it looks nice. So I think that the graphics are incredibly well done. It looks like an anime.
Yeah, it's great. Like if anyone has played a visual novel, it's basically any anime girl from a visual novel. I love them though. Like they're each like kind of like distinctive. Like I mean, I have a passion and I can appreciate each one of them, even though it's a very static game. Like I mean, like we're just talking basically about how the basic things look, but the real like appeal of this game, like to me, when the visuals start happening, is when all the glitches and fucked up things start happening. Like
Yeah,
like during like this fucking okay, like when Yuri starts talking to you and she starts going crazy, like her eyes, like
they
are
get fucking scary, dude.
they
Like,
will look straight into your soul.
yeah, I was terrified, and like I think that's what makes this so unique. Is like you expect it to be a visual novel because like it looks like a visual novel, like it looks like an anime for so long and all that. And then when it starts to get real and things start to move, like that's when the true art comes out. That's when the actual like horror happens because you expect it to just be a visual novel forever. And then it's like it becomes so I don't even know what the like everything's so static in the beginning and then it becomes so fluid later.
Right? Yeah. I'm usually one to like when in these visual novels constantly pay attention to just text and reading them and reading them and reading them. But this one, it makes you like want to look at some things, like not just for like sometimes these nice like close up shots and they're always good and nicely created, but like you'll occasionally just see like a glitch or a really fucked up thing in the corner, like just like or to me when Yuri's eyes started like going big, like I said, like I just replayed this game today and there's a lot of messed up scenes in it.
Definitely. I think another thing that I noticed is that graphically the characters are I mean it's like a 2D
Mm-hmm.
character, but then like the reason that the characters are so like uh they feel real. They feel really good. Like the characters may be 2D, but like the writing and the way that they're presented makes you feel for them. So that makes them like 3D in my mind. Like it feels very real, is what I'm trying to say. It feels like they have such real, actual problems when you get down into the actual fucked up shit. Like where you're talking about like Nasuki being malnourished, or Sayori being like crazy depressed for being friend zoned, or Yori just having mental issues. Like there's so many real problems in this game that come from 2D anime girls.
Yeah, like I I will say, like, watching like Sayori, like just watching her cute little expression for like 2 hours. You're hanging with your best friend who's talking to you in this literature club. She's always nice and smiling. And then for it to off guard look at her hanging herself. Like when I said I wanted to vomit, and it'd be just because of like the story and the visuals combined. Like I I don't know. I've never seen something so fucked up that it made me want to like feel that shit. But yeah,
It's like a pit. Like there was like actual despair, like real guilt
yeah,
involved in your choices.
yeah,
And like that's messed up because you didn't know. Like there's no way you would know unless you listen to this podcast and like, we spoiled it for you, or watch somebody else play it, or somebody told you. But like you're never gonna guess that with this game, with the aesthetics that it has, especially because the graphics presented as such a fun and bubbly game for so long, and
right.
then when it hits that grotesque horror, it really fucking changes. And they play both extremes incredibly well in this game. Like the fun and bubbly stuff, they play that really well. Everything looks nice, it's colorful, it's cheery. And then when it hits the grotesque or creepy or, depraved shit, it does that to the extreme as well. And there's no in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's crazy when you say no in between because it's literal no in between because of how many times it's literally going batshit crazy, and then you click and everything goes back to normal. Like all the text, everybody looks cute again, and your friend's like, yeah, okay, cool, cool. I'll just go back to reading this. Thank you, great.
You just got to try to like cope with what you just saw.
Yeah, basically, like, okay, fuck. I just
Awesome.
literally, Yuri's like, I'm gonna go get some water for tea. Look around the corner and she's just cutting herself fucking repeatedly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah. The same is not for the faint of heart. Trust me. When it gets going, it gets going. It brings it. It brings it hard. Or like, this might be a spoiler, but or like the part where I don't know if this happened in your game where Monica just fully takes over crazy fast. I don't know if that's like something you would describe, but she cuts Yuri's throat and snaps Yusuke's neck while staring at you. Did you
Holy
have that
shit.
happen in your game?
No.
Yeah, like she's like, okay, cool, thunk, thunk.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, I had a lot of that stuff. Like, so there's other shit that we didn't even mention happen, but like I don't even know how many playstyles there are or how many endings or anything. It feels adaptive. It feels real and not okay. It feels like Monica's a real fucking person. I hate it. It's so scary.
Yeah. Especially the way she talks to you at the end.
Oh
And like,
god,
oh
yeah.
my god, she will start telling you, like, she's like, so you put down Tom, but you probably go by Thomas, right? And I
Oh
see that
she
you bought this game on Steam, and
yeah.
I'm like, and you installed it into. I'm like, stop.
Yeah, like it takes your like your Steam name and stuff. And like it does stuff based on that and your Steam profile and like your actual information, and it's really scary. I forgot about that part actually. Yeah, that's like a little thing that I did not like.
Oh, it's so fucking creepy. Like, this game really fucking creeps you out. And I was like, we kind of got lost, even though we're on visuals, but that was a really fucked up part I had to mention.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we can talk about sounds and music just to keep it rolling.
Sounds and music.
I think that the sounds of music also play a really big part in this, in a very subtle way. I mean, the music's cheerful. I mean, you log into the game and it's got like this like anime intro song, like not like the bopping anime intro, but like the end credit anime intro where it's like like happy sounding
Yeah.
anime. Like it just anyone who watches anime knows what I'm talking about. It's got like that happy. You see like cute girls dancing, that kind of stuff. And then when it's horrifying and ominous, it really drags out those sounds too. Like it plays them in the way that you would expect them to be played. You know what I mean? There's no other way to describe it, I guess. Like it sounds horrifying and ominous and atmospheric when it needs to, and it sounds cheery the rest of the time, and that's what makes it really weird.
Yeah, I'd say I love the music in this game. I did not at first because it gets repetitive in the first act, kind of like just for the
Mhm.
first act, though I will say. But
Yeah.
like it's good J-pop like lo-fi esque music, good for reading. You know, it doesn't distract you from reading, which it comes to at first. But my favorite change is when like come act two after you watch Sayori hang herself. But the music starts getting offbeat as well, like, and some sounds are just very subtly off key. You know, it's like the same beat, but occasionally it just changes. Or then the music gets really slow or cuts out entirely. You know, it fits atmospherically so much better come like the second act when really things start getting creepy. And I love that subtle change they did in music just to add that off-putting feel the entire time, no matter what, you know?
Yeah, it's a little touch that helped it go so much further. Cause like, sure, there's a lot of glitches in this game, and it graphically gets really scary, but like without the music, it wouldn't pack as much of a punch. So without the weird offbeat tones or the sound effects or like even the lack of sound in like when you're watching Yori's dead body, like it's dead silent. You know what I mean? Like it's like the lack of sound and sound choices when they have them really sets the mood and really makes you feel a specific way in a certain place.
Yeah.
And I love that about it. That's like a testament on how powerful good sound design can be.
Yeah, it's perfect sound like. And like this is one of those visual novels that don't have voice acting, but I don't know, I kind of like making my own voices in my head.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say I had just like I was gonna mention it later, but I'm like, how creepy would it be if like there was no voice acting like throughout the entire thing, but when Monica at the end is in that room, she
ooh,
actually speaks to you.
yeah, Monica, yeah. Oh, that
That
would
would
be
be
creepy.
so scary, right? Like you've just been playing this whole game for like 4 hours, and then you're like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And then like Monica just like says your real name. Oh
Yeah,
no, dude! I'd shit myself. I'd shit myself live. I wouldn't even care. Like I'd just be pooping.
right. I will say, yeah, during the end credits of this game, I think, light spoiler, I guess, but it's like the only time you actually hear any voice acting in the game, and it's Monica singing. She's
Oh
singing
yeah, I
that
forgot about
poem
that.
she wrote, and it's like really messed up. It's just like the only time you ever hear anyone's voice, and it starts out crackly at first, like the "Can you kind of hear me?" and then it comes in like clear. It's something that just adds like it's like right at the game. It makes you feel like these characters actually had voices the entire time, but like couldn't like use them, you know?
That's another thing that I think that I don't know if we're gonna talk about in features and content, but I just want to bring it up here. Well, you know what? We can just move on to features and content because like we're done with yeah. Well,
Features and content.
I just think that this is just a funny, interesting tidbit. It's called Doki Doki Literature Club, and the whole thing is you reading.
Yeah.
So if you don't like reading, probably not the game for you because it's literally full on just you reading the whole time. If you want to read, you can skip through it to see what happens and make choices and not care. But like reading is a large part of it, and it is a literature club. Like it really plays into its strengths with that. So I thought I'd mention that. I totally didn't even realize that until right now, which is dumb because it's such an easy concept that I just like skipped right over.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I kind of like it because I can like speed read a lot. Like
Mhm.
I just turn like the text speed up and I can always keep up with it, you know? Like
Yeah,
so
definitely. But for features and content, if you're new here, it's where we put like the meat and potatoes of the entire thing. Well, actually, the meat and potatoes in this one is probably the storyline. But we're gonna talk about a few things that we like about the game, a few things we didn't like about the game, and just a couple of its content features. So basically, I think we should start with the obvious part of it. It's a visual novel. Like it's not like a lot of other games. The visual novels have become more popular in recent years, and I feel like this game's success was a huge part of that. But visual novels, if you've never played one, it's essentially what we're talking about. You are reading basically a book as you see something happening in front of you. Pretty similar. There's a lot of other dating sims that are like this as well, but I think that this one does it incredibly well and hits the major points that we already talked about with the graphics and the music and everything else. I think that it hits all of the major points for being a good visual novel.
Yeah, it is perfect. Like for just visual novel sake, like your choices, like although like sometimes like endgame, like I said, there's only like a few possible endings. There is like different outcomes that you can affect during the game just based on your choices. So like it just determines like a lot of things determine which visual kind of novel you're gonna take wise. Just like all the other ones, pick your own kind of destiny, kind of thing. And it plays well for one. Like it's a really good visual novel game.
I agree, definitely. What else do you want to talk about in the content and features?
Probably like one of like I think the only like kind of aspects of this gameplay would probably be good, which is like that poem writing kind of mini game, which we kind of talked about in light before. But so to get the cutscenes you want in this game, like say you want to impress Yuri, like during the mini game, you're picking out words that you think would impress the person you're after, and like there's a little chibi in the side, right, that tells you um which words impress them. I will say if you want to impress Yuri, just pick like all the metaphorical abstract words that you can. Like
Yeah, and then
it's
it's the complete opposite for Natsuki. If you want to press, or I think it's Natsuki. Sorry, if you want to press Natsuki, you just is that how you say her name? I don't even fucking
yeah.
remember.
Click on
Yeah,
like firework or cupcake every time. You're good.
yeah. Like the simple shit impresses her, and then the complicated shit impresses Yuri, and then
Yeah.
anything to do with like what was
Like
Sayori?
anything happy or sad that's like not metaphorical is like Sayori.
Yeah,
So
very real stuff is Sayori.
like yeah, I was like, oh, this is kind of confusing what they wanted first until I realized that any word that was just slightly fancy was probably Yuri. Like um, it's sad but fucking true. Like it's like oh sunshine or ambiguous. Like I wonder.
Yeah, but it is an interesting concept that it has you pick out like words. Because again, the game is literally called Literature Club, like Doki Doki Literature Club. So like you are picking out words to impress girls that are about words. Like, and I think it's like those little tiny things that make this game so unique and fun. It just adds a lot more to the concept of a visual novel and dating sim because it makes you more intertwined with your choices and also the character that you're trying to impress.
Right? Yeah, it is really a nice kind of mini game to kind of get, like I said, to the cutscene you kind of want, and like who you're trying to talk to more, and or who you're trying to talk to less occasionally.
Yeah, definitely. Because you can insult other people's poetry as well.
Like I loved Yuri Comact 1. Comact 2, I really wanted to stay away from her because she was scaring me.
No, but I think that and also like the poetry is actually like pretty good. Like I'm kind of a sucker for poetry and stuff, but like some of it's really good, like really in-depth stuff, and some of it's pretty shitty. But like the fact that there is actually like unique and interesting poetry that actually showcases like the characters like thoughts is really weird because it really makes them feel less two-dimensional. Um it feels very real. It's like a high school poetry class. You got some people that are really into it and some people that are not.
Right? Yeah, I actually I really do like each of their poems in this game because
Mhm.
like you said, it's a nice direct feel to the character, and you get a sense of who they are based on their poems. Like Yuri's are really deep and like are very full of metaphors, and like a lot more of that like kind of poetry. Let's see. Sayori is kind of like happy and sad and kind of what she's feeling. I loved her breakfast one at first.
Oh my
Like that
god,
was
yeah,
the
the breakfast one, yeah.
and you're like, you're basically like, did you happen to write this in the morning? And she's like, yeah, I forgot to, and I was hungry, so I
It's all
was
about
like,
food.
damn, and like, Yeah, Monica has like a free flow kind of poetry, which I don't understand. And with the way Monica is being Monica, it makes sense why you don't fucking understand most of her poems or why
Mhm.
she doesn't tell you what they mean.
Yeah.
Um, but personally, even though I didn't like Natsuki, I loved her poems because I actually like I'm dumb when it comes to those kind of sometimes, and I loved hers.
No,
Like,
yeah, they were very straight to the point and well crafted. Honestly, like I actually, not gonna lie, I went for Natsuki on my second playthrough, so
right,
I liked her a lot.
right.
I didn't at first, but I liked her later.
Yeah, me too. I want to read one of her poems quick, just because it's her first one and it's so nice and easy. But it's called "Eagles Can Fly," and it's like monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try, but that's about it. like
It's well done. It's well crafted. Yeah.
And, like, it's like at first you're like, "What?" But then you're like, "Oh, it's just like," but it's basically about like seeing like everyone kind of do good around you can kind of dishearten you sometimes, but like, try not to let it. So it's actually like a straightforward yet deep kind of meaning,
I
and she gets,
wrote.
yeah,
I actually perceived that as an a depressing poem more than a because you had like a really positive outlook on it, and like in that it feels like she's saying all people can do is try. That's all we're good for. Like
yeah,
I had a totally other, but that's one of those other things is that poetry is so uh objective based by the
right.
reader. Like we just had two very interactions with the same poem. So like I think that's another cool part about this game is that it does showcase some cool like objective poetry concepts.
Yeah, like her second poem, like at first I thought it was a totally different meaning than what she said, I don't want to spoil too many poems for whoever wants to read. And the first one I was like nice and short. Some of them get pretty dang long, you know.
Yeah, Yuri. Oh my god, shut up. Stop talking so much, right?
Jesus, like I'm like,
She
Yuri,
should
I
start
love
a
you and
podcast.
you're my bae, but Jesus, every time I had to read her poem 3 times. So I'm like, what? And then your character is like, what?
No, but I think that I think that's another huge actual draw to this is that like some like like it's actual good literature some of the time and like there's good poetry in it. And I think that's a cool draw that you don't get from a lot of other games. Like I played a couple dating sims and none of them were like poetry. Like it's just interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, like at first when I played this game, I really didn't realize it was going to be about poetry. I was like, oh, literature club. What can that be about? I'm like, oh, literally poetry. Duh, I'm dumb. Like,
Dumb.
right. Um,
Another feature that I would like to talk about, and I feel like it's probably the most important thing in the entire game because it affects everything else. Who was your favorite club member?
um, ca- I'm gonna go with my girl Yuri. Like, I mean, she got crazy, but like, I don't mind crazy. So, like, I mean, she got a bit way too crazy. Like, she gets super obsessive. But I mean, I don't know, something like, I don't know, just her personality is a bit more shy, and I get
Tom's
that.
like personality while staring at boobs.
Well, that Suki is just way too aggressive for me, homie. Like, I don't know. And like I've known Sayori like my whole life, so like I don't like
Sorry,
it's like, so that leaves Yuri. Like,
that's
even
fair.
though, yeah. But I would read like a lot of manga with Natsuki, like that's definitely no prob. But like, and like
I
eat all
think
her cupcakes. But
yeah, I think overall I like Yuri the most. I'm a sucker for purple hair.
yeah,
And metaphors and stuff and intellectual bullshit. I'm a fan of all that. So, but
right.
I'm gonna be honest. My first playthrough, I picked Yuri obviously because she's my type in real life. So I went for that. But then the second playthrough, I was like, I already did Yuri. Let's see what Natsuki's about. And honestly, I enjoyed the Natsuki playthrough a lot more than the Yuri playthrough.
Yeah.
Like as a human, Natsuki was a lot better and more fun and just like relatable and entertaining. Like the date you have at your house, I don't remember how the date with Yuri went. I don't think I'd ever got to a date with Yuri. I think she just killed herself. Like it was pretty fast. But Natsuki, you have like a whole ass date with her at your house where you like make a cake with her and find out all about her family and blah 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 blah. It's like very in depth and very real. And she's like she comes out of her shell more, and it's just like it's a weird thing, dude. And
Yeah.
that I didn't get with Yuri. So I think that I think I have to go with Natsuki as my favorite because I just had like a full conversation about why I liked her more.
Yeah, no doubt. It's Yuri like is like a bit nosy. Like at first, and it's just start like checking out all your shit. And she's like opening drawers, and you're like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
Just calm the fuck down, bro. Like Jesus Christ.
yeah, yeah. She like you start doing like crafts with her, and she like busts out a pocket knife, and it's like the sharpest pocket knife ever. Like you barely touch it and cut yourself, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, um,
That's
you know,
telling for later.
yeah. Basically, it's
It's a special tool that'll help us later.
yeah. Like, and that's in like the first act, and you can already tell something is up. Like, I don't know. This game like starts like it's like weird how much it feels like a regular dating sim, even though you can feel like some slight
Something's
things off.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't really you don't mind. I will say like I kind of love how much like the fights escalate like in the narratives from like act 1 to act 2 cuz it's like similar but like oh man, shit gets crazy and really personal. Like,
Yeah, they call a lot of people out for a lot of things, and it feels real.
yeah, it's messed up.
You got anything else you want to talk about in features and content?
Yeah, let me see here. Sorry, I got a lot of tabs here. I know we've mentioned like, yeah, we've basically gone through like a lot of the fourth wall breaks and kind of stuff like that about like kind of going in when you're deleting files and stuff. It's like really cool though because like at the end of the game, I didn't realize that for like 20 minutes my first fucking playthrough. So like, cuz she'll just keep talking to you until you delete her from your game files, which is pretty cool. Like, I don't know. There have been like a couple games like that, but this game like hits it pretty well, I
Yeah,
feel.
like forces your hand and makes it feel very real, and like you have to do that. Like otherwise, it'll just keep fucking over your actual game, which is super interesting. Like I've played, like you said, there's a couple other games that are like that, but this game did it so flawlessly.
Yeah. Like this game it was huge. Like, I mean, too, like another thing, like it was so big that like cultural impact of this game. Like, I think in the first like 2 or 3 months, it had 1 million downloads, and like 4 months in, it had 2 million downloads, and like it inspired like a lot of fan made mods, like really quickly too. Like Monica even has like a full after story kind of thing, and like um there was like memes going around like a while when this game I remember first came out, like just Monica or whatever. Like I
Mhm.
remember that fucking and shit, but like and he like the developer never expected Monica to be popular. He figured everybody would hate her, but like in the end, she did like a good thing, or she tried to atone, you
I
know.
don't know. I put one of the memes on the screens.
Yeah, like fucking oh man, I always remember like just seeing like fucking seriously these memes all over the place like when this game first came out.
Sorry, I'm just going through the
Remember,
Monica
just
memes.
Monica. Like
Just Monica
fucking
with a bunch of guns.
yeah, like oh fuck, it's some of the greatest shit. Like
Oh my god, yeah, like
yeah,
it's fucking horrifying. It's
it was
horrifying.
yeah, it was just cool that such a small indie game could be such a hit in culture. Like this game was known like everywhere when it first came out. Everybody was playing this game, from regular people to streamers to you can't escape Doki Doki. It was fucking huge, and if you haven't played, you should definitely play. Just
Yeah,
to
I'd be
get
very
like,
surprised if anyone listening to this hasn't played this game. Like, I'm not a dating sim guy. I played a
Mm-mm.
couple, whatever, but this one I've played multiple times and own a fucking shirt for. Like that
Yeah.
that explains like everything to me. Like I'm wearing a bright pink shirt with 4 anime girls on it right now. So like I think that kind of explains how when we're talking about the cultural impact, like all the memes, all the mods, all the separate storylines, the fan art, the shirts, the merch. Like, there's so much to this game that is beloved by a community, and it's a community that's everyone is a part of, which is like that's like so crazy to think about. Like Tom was saying, like literally everyone has played this game or knows about it, essentially.
Right. These characters are so popular that they were put into Yandere. Like, if y'all have played that one. So I think it's Yandere Simulator. Let me see here. What's the second
I don't
word
even know
here?
what that is.
Yeah, Yandere Simulator, which is a game like when we talk similarities later, like that's another one kind of like this. But I know each of these characters, like the developer of that game, put them in there, which is really cool. Like,
It just speaks to the fact that this game is just so wildly well made.
yeah.
I think that one of the last things I want to talk about in features of content is definitely that there is that I don't know if it's like DLC. It's probably we could call it like DLC. There's DLC for
Yeah.
this game that broadens the game. I haven't played it. I have watched it be played, but I haven't played it because I don't know if it was out when I played it originally, and I didn't buy it when I played it the next time. So if you want to talk, I don't know if you played any of it, but essentially there's 6 additional stories that basically further the characters, like their characters and how they work and like their how they interact with each other.
Yeah, like it's I think like I haven't really played it either, unfortunately. But I know like I think it's mostly just prequel kind of stuff. Like it's kind of like the formation, the group. And there's no like horror aspects yet, I will say. Like it just focuses on like conflict resolution and focusing on friendship and stuff. And there's a lot more. I think there's interacting and stuff. Like there's a lot more point and click stuff. Like I know you get like an email kind of like a virtual kind of desktop kind of thing. Like I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, but then it goes like even further into like kind of shit like that. Like I was talking about earlier. So like basically it goes into a company referred to as Metaverse Enterprise Solutions. Um, that's like a file kind of desktop folder that kind of pops up. And it basically tells you about the group of researchers who are attempt to use like a virtual machine called M1 to create a VM. Just how VM1, I'm not sure why, but it basically created like a universe and like characters in it to like create like I don't know exactly what they were trying to do. I didn't want to get too heavily in this kind of
I
story just
think
because I didn't cover it, but
I
like
mean I'm
it's
looking at it
pretty
and
crazy.
I think like it's essentially telling you how Doki like the game came to be because like it's talking about how it's a group of researchers that were trying to create a virtual machine called VM1 to create a simulated universe, and then it's a prequel to Doki Doki. So like you're playing Doki Doki is the machine that they created, and Monica became self-aware from that machine.
Yeah, like
I think is essentially what I'm reading, right?
yeah. I
That
mean,
sounds
yeah,
right.
right. Yeah. It just there's so much I know that happens like in the prequel, and I'm leaving out like a for sure second half of what happens because like I know that it builds right off of that, but that's about all I know
Yeah,
about it.
neither of us played
So
it, so like we don't know for sure about that. Anyone who does know about it, feel free to come and correct us.
right. Yeah.
But I do think that is it's there's clearly in Doki Doki Plus there's 6 side stories that allow you to get to know the characters better, which is cool, and it's a prequel to the game. So it's a if you are interested in getting to know more about why characters are the way they are or what the relationships are in between, you should definitely play the DLC. Unfortunately, neither of us have, so I think we should stop talking about it.
Right. Yeah.
But we decided to mention that it exists.
Yep.
I think that's all I really want to talk about for features and content. I mean, most of this game is the story and then the horror that comes with the story.
Yeah, for sure. Like we've covered a lot of basically what goes on for the most part. So
Awesome. Let's talk about movement and control.
Movement and controls.
It's a point and click. I think those are my favorite ones when I say that. Like it's just like we have the whole slide. It shows up. It's like movement and controls, and I'm like, it's a point and click. That's
click,
that's
click,
the whole
click, click,
thing.
click. Yeah,
If you have a mouse and you click with it, then you can play this game.
yeah.
Or
Don't even have to know where it is half the fucking time. Like
yeah,
unless you're like hitting like a specific like thing, like you can click generally wherever in the fucking screen almost half the time. You know?
it works out just fine.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I don't think we got to talk more about that unless you really, really want to.
Right. Yeah. I
All
will
right.
say at one point it does fuck with the controls because like in like one certain point, like Monica takes control like of your mouse. I remember like I was trying to move it and it constantly was going
Oh
to her
yeah.
to her name, and I'm like, okay, this is the
Oh
only
yeah.
point. Like,
I
oh
forgot
man,
about that. Like it literally like pulls you towards her to try to make you select her the option to pick her.
oh yeah,
Really fucked up. You have to like actually fight it. Totally forgot about that. Like another fourth wall break thing.
yeah.
But let's move into closing thoughts then.
Closing thoughts.
So, with closing thoughts, let me pull up our sheet here. I think we need to talk about the replayability is a big one for
Mhm.
me in this game. I think that I played it twice, and I'd play it again. Honestly, I'd play it again, especially with the DLC. But I think that it's fun to play it twice because you get multiple little things, multiple little Easter eggs. You also get different people's stories, and you just feel different every time you play it. Like I said, the first time I played it, I was super into Yuri. Second time I played it, I was super into Natsuki, and like that's an interesting feeling. And I feel like even when I mentioned like Monica doing that, slitting Yuri's throat and breaking Natsuki's neck right in front of you, like Tom didn't even know about that because he didn't get that happen to him. Like you get a lot of different endings and a lot of different representations and just like a lot of different options if you replay it, and it's a lot of fun to replay it. It doesn't feel like a chore or a grind.
Yeah.
What about
It's
you?
really wild. I've never had a game like literally make me at the end like uninstall and reinstall. Not that it's like a big game. It takes like 5 seconds to install it, for the most of the time. But it's just it's crazy. Like, okay, no, I'm uninstalling every folder from your game. Like, okay.
Definitely. Would you replay it? I mean, I know you just played it today, but would you replay it?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, the thing is, I would love to like kind of like get in depth with everybody. Like, I know you can go back to your saves and kind of do stuff, but I like to like one kind of playthrough kind of person, get the whole entire. I like the consequences of my actions, kind of person. Um, but like,
Definitely.
yeah, I would like to get to know like every character in depth, more. So it's definitely worth the replayability just for that, and getting to know different scenes and what happens and kind of what's causing the problems, for each of these people.
Definitely. Awesome. Well, where would you put this on the fun factor?
Uh Believe it or not, but this has no controls on it, and I don't know why this game is so fun. But like, I mean, if you're a reader, you're gonna really enjoy this game, then because I am. So it's like a nice, solid like 8, 9 for me. I'm a huge reader, so like half of these scenes, like I see the characters, but I'm more imagining it in my head. Is the
Hmm.
thing. So like when I just got to like speed reading, until like act 2 when you start seeing some actual fucked up shit. Um but like I really had a lot of fun just reading this game, honestly. Cuz you
Definitely.
can't say
I
a lot about a lot of games.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. I actually really enjoyed it. Like I played Dating Sim, so I like read and it was like, oh my god, this is going on forever. But this one you definitely feel interested in what's happening around you, and not just because there's cute girls, but like it's very fun. And I would also give it like probably either an 8 or a 9. It's like on the borderline of a 9 for me. I'll say
Yeah.
that for sure, which is like surprising. But like Then when it gets like the really fucked up shit, it definitely it's at an 8 and it transitions to a 9 because then you're like, wait, what? And it's just like it keeps you hooked for different reasons. Act 1 of this game is definitely an 8, and then Act 2 and beyond is a 9 for me.
Yeah, like it really picks up, you know, like honestly, like I love how much, like, even talking about it and me saying it's going to catch you off guard, you don't know, this game catches you off guard all the time. Like, just because of how long it takes to literally get to some shit. And I
And
think
then
it
it
does
just
that on
speeds
purpose,
up.
you
Yeah,
know,
then it just
because you
speeds
get,
up after that.
yeah, you get so attached to everybody. And then it's like, yeah, rip carpet out from under your feet, except you're standing on a cliff, you know?
Fuck your life. It's like real emotional damage. It's not a great time.
Right.
I felt bad. I almost cried. I almost vomited. Like there was a lot of feelings involved in this game that I didn't expect to have for little 2D cute girls.
Right.
Uh, what was your favorite part and least favorite part?
God. I mean, it's my favorite part was literally the transition of like this game when I first played it. Like replaying it today, I played this game like 3 years ago when it came out. So when you said, "Oh, let's cover it," I was like, "Yeah." I forgot how fucked up literally it was because it's goddamn long, and my memory is just not good with every single game I've ever played, especially indie wise.
Yeah.
But this one, like, it really did stick with me the first time, and I knew what I was getting into, and it still fucked me up today, like, to witness everything. And the transition to the fuck up part is really my favorite part because it still caught me off guard, like even if
Yeah.
it was coming, like the build up and me knowing it was coming, it still somehow caught me off guard to see that shit. Like
I
I
think
I think locked out
okay.
of at first Sayori like hanging yourself and to re-see it today. I'm like, okay, great. Like in my
I think not to interject, but I think that the thing that's so crazy about this game is the fact that it's such good horror. Like because like you know what's gonna happen, and I had the same feeling. Like I played it a couple years ago in like 2018, and then I played it again last year in 2021. So there was a large gap in between,
right.
and I knew what was gonna happen. I had already played it, and it was still just as shocking and jarring and horror. Like the
Mhm.
horror really is just a crazy aspect from this game that if it's so real and so good that even if you know what's going to happen, it still scares you.
Yeah, like especially like just seeing like different characters. Like when you're going after different people, you get to witness a lot of different fucked up shit, and it's equally fucked up no matter which path you choose. So
What was
it's
your least
like,
favorite part?
um, God, it's hard to pick on this one. Fuck. You go first and let me think about that. Like,
I think we both agreed that our favorite part was I mean, like in retrospect, like the horror and like the no matter how long you've not played it, it's still
mhm,
scary. Like
yeah,
I think my least favorite part was probably having to read Yori's metaphorical poetry.
mm,
It was just annoying and long, and I was like, please just write something similar.
yeah. Hers are really hard to except for like the last poem she like wrote me was like actually like a love kind of one, and I was like, oh, that one was actually nice before everything went batshit crazy. That is, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that one I could finally fucking understand. But yeah, it's like Yuri's writing style. mm, it would do well. God, I'm not sure. One of those bars where everybody, does this, right? Like they,
Slam poetry, except it's not slam poetry. It's
yeah,
just
it's yeah,
boring. I don't know. it's too metaphorical. It's too like it's just like it's trying too hard. It's like that pretentious piece of shit that took like one philosophy class and he's just like, I love philosophy. It's me. It's literally just me. No, but it's I did that. It is literally just pretentious and annoying to me.
Right. I mean, I will say, like we talked about, when you are doing that mini game, right? And I said pick abstract word. Even philosophy is one of those words that you will pick like every time you're doing that mini game because
Yeah.
you know it works on Yuri because it's any word that is super abstract, you know,
Yeah.
that
It's
nobody would fucking use in.
She's a hipster, honestly. Yuri's the hipster in this game.
Yeah.
But by God, is she hot.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like unfair. I'm like, God damn it. Meanwhile, like Natsuki's just like, yeah, I read manga. That's definitely a form of literature. I'm like, oh, same, bro. Like, check out my shelves. Like,
relatable content. But no, I think that least favorite is definitely Yuri's writing style and just like how annoying it was because it really explained her personality in a nutshell to
right.
me. Awesome. Well, is there any games this one reminds you of?
Definitely like I know there's like I said before, like Yandere Simulator. That's one of them. You know, like if you're looking for like a horror kind of dating game, Yandere Simulator.
I don't
Or
think I've played that one.
yeah.
I think that this game reminds me of. Have you ever played? It's not like dating sim. Sucker for Love. It's like the Cthulhu one.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
feels very kind of memey, but also a little game like fourth wall breaking. I mean, it's not similar. There's nothing very similar to this game, but that's what it reminds me of. That like we're in the fact that it can meme on itself a little bit.
Yeah. And I know there's like other visual novels too. Like I'm just gonna like list a couple that like I've heard of, but I haven't played. But people say if you like this game, you should definitely like kind of check out. And I've put them here. It's like Higurashi When They Cry. It's like that game is also on Steam, and it's like highly recommended. I know by anyone who played like this game. And then Corpse Party Book of Shadows is another one that was recommended if you like Doki Doki. So I think either of those are really kind of like close to like that horror atmosphere that this game goes for. You know, it's not Doki Doki, but they're their own games. But if you like those games, I mean, Doki Doki, that's what I hear are fucking awesome games. So
yeah, I would definitely throw in. I mean, I already said Sucker for Love is horror Cthulhu themed, and then the other one is Hooked on You, which is the Dead by Daylight
yeah,
dating sim, and that's also horror themed and pretty bad. I mean, I've watched it get played. It's all right. It's actually it's got similar vibes where it's like horror themed and funny and memey, but one that is totally unlike this, but I think you should play regardless is the bird dating sim. I forgot what's it called. I played it on stream. It's just really dumb. You should play it. Just in general. If you like
Yeah.
dating sims, play the bird one. You'll know if you just look up bird dating sim, you'll find it. It's really bad.
right. It's oh yeah, I know which one that is. It's like Himtaro or
Hitsuo boyfriend or something like that. I don't
yeah,
even remember what it is.
Hatuo boyfriend. Because I remember showing you that. I'm like, dude, look at this dating sim. It's all just birds.
I'm
Like
pulling it up, yeah, because I forgot the name. It literally looks like
Hatoful boyfriend.
yeah,
Hatoful boyfriend. There
yeah,
we
that's
go.
what it's called. Yeah, I played that and it was dumb as hell.
I just like I can't resist. Like
Definitely. All right. Well, how much would you recommend this game, and who would you recommend it to?
oh man, like it's crazy, and I've never given the score, but I think I'll give it like a 10 recommendation. Like, I mean,
I
this
agree. I
game
fully agree.
deserves it. Like, I've never like given a 10 recommendation, but Jesus Christ, this game.
Play this
like,
game. Just play
Yeah,
this game. Like
yeah,
you can listen to us. You can if you listen this far in the episode, you heard the entire story, or if you skip through to this part, just just literally play the game. Like, there's nothing that we can say that'll actually prepare you for anything that happens in this game.
Right. Yeah, this game is absolutely perfect in what it's going for and what it accomplishes, what it makes you feel the entire time. It chills, it sends down your body right as the game switches, how much off guard it catches you. Everything about this game is absolutely done
10 out of 10.
perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, just like literally one of the best games I've ever played in my life, probably.
Yeah. It's fucking fantastic.
Which is wild to say about a fucking visual novel about a literature club. If you really just think about the concept that we're recommending this game that much.
Yeah, I could recommend this to gamers, not gamers, people that just read manga or watch anime, the people who are like, fans of horror, fans of anything. Like, even if you're just a fan of just reading books, like, god
I
damn,
think
you're gonna love this.
I think that's what's so wild about this game is that it literally is for everyone.
Yeah.
There's not a single person that I can think of that wouldn't. I mean, maybe like the elderly.
Yeah, unless you're like really like I said, like if you're not like if you're easily disturbed, probably not the game for you. But
Yeah, probably not like children, like young children and old people or anyone incredibly religious. Those are like the three groups I would exclude from recommending this to. Everyone
Yeah.
else, fair game. Like, make them play it.
Yeah, I know it checks like I think like it checks your Steam account to make sure you're 13 or older. I know it asks you in the game if you are, but like I mean, just to affect like psychological wise, I'd understand. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
yeah, but yeah, I know it asks like in the game right as you start, like, are you 13? Are you easily disturbed? It's like, maybe.
Awesome.
It's like, yeah, I'm easily disturbed. Fuck yeah, welcome. It's a
Welcome.
fuck yeah,
You're gonna love this. You're gonna be even more disturbed by the time we're done with this.
right? I'm gonna draw you in with a nice, cute dating simulator.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about it for Doki Doki. I think we pretty much ran the course. We did the gambit.
Yeah, it's
Awesome. Well, because we're really bad at podcasting and life has been really busy, we didn't decide what we're doing next week. So it's going to be a surprise for everybody, including us.
right.
Because we're super good at podcasting. We're
Always
pros.
the best,
We're absolute pros.
right?
All right, guys. Well, Tom, tell the people where they can find you if you want to be found.
You can find me at basically Ticking Time Tom is always my gamer tag, whatever you want to call it, on every platform. Or you can find me at Tom Decker's Tattoos if you like to follow my tattoo work on my TikTok and my Instagram and Facebook and Anchor 13 as well. So
Awesome, and of course the links will be in the show notes. I made him make a link tree, so it's easy.
yeah, it's
all
nice.
those links are in one place.
Right, so smooth.
So smooth. This is not a sponsored ad. We just we use them. And of course, I'm Sean. I'm on every single platform as Sean is a Ginger. As SEAN is a Ginger, all one word. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at least. I've been streaming a lot more than that lately. We're doing a thing called Noble November right now, which is melee games only, at least one day a week. And we're also doing Smash or Pass Digimon. There's 1,400 of them. So I'm working my way through. And
My God.
yeah. So if you want to follow me on anything, it's John as a Ginger, and of course my links are in the show notes as well. This is actually one of the first times that I can say that we usually I'd be like, hey, if you want to support the show, you can purchase the game through the link in the bio, but there actually wasn't a link for this game. Like the company that I used for this, Humble Bundle, shameless plug, I love them so much. They give a lot of money to charity and they give out games for really good deals. So go check out Humble Bundle in general. But they're the ones that I link all our games through. They did not have this on their platform, which is a little surprising. I don't know, like telling. Maybe they just don't support the ideas behind it. I don't know.
Right. Though I will say that this game is free on Steam. Like,
oh, it is? I had no idea.
You can download it right now. But besides like the DLC, this game is 100% free on Steam. If you have a Steam account, you can just download it. So
that's probably why it's not on Humble. I thought that I remember buying it. Did I not buy? It's been so long.
It might have been at first you had to pay for it, but I know now you can just download it if you have Steam. On console, you have to buy it because you have to buy the DLC with it for the game to even work. Because
I don't even. I don't even remember that. I'm pretty sure I paid for it, but I guess not. And then also the platforms that this is available on is literally everything. Like, we have a list. I'll just show the list. This is the list. Everything, literally everything. It's available on every platform you can think of. So there you go. But apparently it is free on Steam. So get it there if you can.
Yeah.
Lastly, guys, if you have not rated the podcast, please make sure to do so. Give us 5 stars. Tell them why you love us, because we are currently seeking advertisers to fund the podcast. So that really helps us get the word out that we are looking for that. And then if you're a developer that wants to talk about your indie game, you can shoot us a message on any social platform. It's Block Bros Podcast, or you can shoot us an email at blockbrospodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's blockbrospodcast@gmail.com. Also, I've been adding little polls to the Spotify every now and then that ask questions. If you guys interact with that does help us. One of them's like, hey, like, what game should we talk about next? What's your favorite indie game? Stuff like that. Just any interaction helps. You can also like any of our posts on social media. That also really helps. But we are growing exponentially, and I do thank you guys for that. We also have a TikTok now, too, so find us on TikTok if you want to see just like short-form clips of us. But otherwise, Block Bros Podcast streams live to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube every single Tuesday. Well, most Tuesdays. We've missed a couple. Usually around 10 to 11, in between that time frame. And, of course, the opening music is 8-Bit Fun by the Heathley Bros. And as always, Block Bros Podcast is a Lost Cause media production. So we'll catch you guys next week with a game we don't know yet. Bye.
Bye.
Lost Cause Media.